Hey there, I'm Natalie and welcome to my YouTube channel, Natalie. This channel is all about Pilates for runners, so I do specifically create Pilates routines for the kind of 5K plus runners out there. However, if you just like doing Pilates in general, I'm sure you'll get some benefit from doing these classes as well. So you don't have to be running, but it is dedicated to runners, just so you know when I refer to certain things about the class. We're going to start to laying down on our backs today. So come to lay down onto your mat. As you come to lay down, look to have your feet hip distance and parallel. Now, you want to be testing hip distance with your fist, make a fist with one hand, place it in between your thighs, and then draw your heels into line with your knees and your hips at that fist/hip distance for you. Hands down beside you, your heels should be in tickling distance to your fingertips, so walk them in towards you, they're too far away. And either keep the hands beside you on the mat or bring your hands into your rib cage as you close down the eyes. Connecting to your breathing for the moment. Taking deep inhales in through nose. Exhale out through mouth to release. Deep inhales in through nose. Exhale out through mouth to release. And where possible, think about breathing into ribs. So inhale, ribs go into wide expansion. Exhale, ribs close back into your center. Inhale, let the ribs expand wide. Exhale, ribs close back in. And looking to work that breathing throughout the class where you can. When open your eyes if they're closed. And having the hands down beside you. Now, you keep your hands down beside you. I'm only moving my left hand so you can see what my pelvis is doing, but you keep your hands down beside you here. Into our pelvic tilts. So on your inhales, let your tailbone press down into the mat, and your back creates a slight arch up and away from the mat. And when you exhale, press your back down. Physically keep your back down. You're only doing a slight tuck of your tailbone so it lifts off the ground, but your back stays down, so we're not bridging, not yet. Inhale, tailbone down, back creates that arch. Exhale, back down, a slight rounding. The tailbone comes off, the lower back stays down. So you're rocking your pelvis forwards and back between what we call the anterior pelvic tilt, the arch in the back, and the posterior pelvic tilt, a slight rounding in the spine there. So really starting to find that movement in the pelvis. Now, even though, of course, you've got to strengthen your legs from a running point of view, we can't forget the rest of the body. The mid to upper body also needs to be worked on. And right now, we're thinking about really working our core. So our pelvis is a part of our overall core. And we're working into the mobility here. When you get there, take one more inhale, tailbone down, back creates that slight arch. A final exhale, back down, like a little bit of a rounding, and set your pelvis halfway in between those two positions, which is your neutral pelvis, or at least roughly your neutral pelvis, if not perfectly your neutral pelvis. Now into the Pilates style bridge. Take a deep inhale in. Now exhale, first and foremost, draw the abdominals down, so you're pressing your lower back into that mat. We then start to lift our pelvis, our low back, our mid-back, creating a C shape in our spine. So whenever I teach what we call a Pilates pelvic curl, which looks like any other bridge to most people, we're not back bending. We're working our core, and from a running point of view, you want that strong core as well. So if you can see your chest and your eye line, lower that chest down, pull the abdominals in, but you can lift your glutes higher. Inhale to pause at your top range. Exhale, melt your spine down from mid-back. Low back, and your pelvis finds a neutral position on the mat. Inhale to pause at the bottom. Now exhale, draw the abdominals down first, and then start to lift your pelvis. Low back, mid back, in that C shape in your spine. Inhale, pause at the top. And exhale, melt your spine down from mid back, low back, and your pelvis comes back to neutral. Now I want you to keep going here, very slowly, very controlled. We're thinking about the core strength, not how high your bridge is. The height of the bridge is irrelevant. We're not doing a back bend style bridge, so we're not preparing for a wheel pose here. We are working our core strength. So think less about your range and your height, and more about where you're controlling the movement from. And you want to be thinking core. core strength here. We want a strong core for our running as well. And we're working those glutes too, so you get those glutes activated. Strong glutes really help, especially if you find you've got like funny knees and running. Sometimes it's indication, sometimes not always, just to be clear. Sometimes it's indicating maybe a weakness in the glutes. Everyone's different, so get it checked out if you do have a runner's knee or any knee issues. But strong glutes help to combat knee issues, but it will depend on what your knee issue is as well. Now the next time you come up into the pelvic curl, stay in that position and hold your pelvic curl. When you're holding your pelvic curl, again, keep your chest out of the eye lines. Think about the chest being a little bit lower, scoop your abdominals out, the glutes lifting higher. Now into our shoulder bridge prep. Ground down into your right foot. Your right leg is staying still. Put a left leg up into a tabletop 90-degree bend, knee line with hip, heel in line with knee. Now we're moving the left thigh forwards and back, so toes go down towards the ground. The toes don't have to touch the ground. They can be in touching distance, they don't actually have to touch, but maintain a 90-degree bend. So in your inhales, left toes in a 90-degree bend of the leg go down towards the ground. They might touch, they might not, doesn't matter. Exhale, bring the left leg up, just left leg only. Inhale towards the ground. Exhale to lift. Keep going here nice and slowly. We're working into our right glute here. Keeping the core strong, so do keep your back lifted. Keep the hips at the same height, so watch the left hip dropping. It stays at the same height as your right hip. The next time your left leg comes up, let's go for one more on this side. Inhale towards the ground. Exhale to lift back to 90-degree bend. And then bring your left toes, left foot all the way to the floor. Find yourself to be nice and centre. Take a moment to get your hips the same height. Draw into your centre. Ground into your left foot, shoulders, arms and palms. Right leg up into a tabletop here. Same thing other side. Inhale. Right toes go down towards the ground. Exhale to lift up. Again, keep going here nice and slowly. Making sure your thigh is going back and forth in a hip joint as opposed to your knee going up and down in the knee joint. So your thigh has got to move. Keep a 90-degree bend in that right knee the entire time. And again, keep your back lifted, strong core here. So again, that strength in the glute, really great for helping you build strong legs for your running. And also just conditioning the knee as well. Like it's great for strengthening the knee, but also helping with knee rehab too. Let's go for one more. Toes down towards the ground. Lift up, then release your right toes and the whole foot to the floor first. Recenter yourself into your pelvic curl again, chest out of your eye line, abdominals join in, the glutes lifting higher in that C shape in your spine. Take a deep inhale in here. Exhale, melt down, mid back, low back, and your pelvis comes back to neutral from here. Brilliant. So that same type of leg movement now we want for our changes. We're staying with our back down on the floor this time, but bring your right leg up into a tabletop to start. So knee line, hip, heel line, knee. Now do keep your left foot on the floor, but lift your left heel off. So you want to tip your toes on the left side. So we've got two 90-degree bends. Now the legs are simultaneously moving. Take an inhale in here. As you exhale, the right toes go down towards the ground and the left leg comes up into a tabletop. Again, we're still maintaining the 90-degree bend. Inhale, exhale to change. Inhale, exhale to change. Now your primary focus is to keep your lower back in contact with the mat. It doesn't need to be an imprint of the spine. You can have a natural gap between the back and the mat, like a lot of us do, but we're not arching the back to get the toes to the floor. So if your back needs to arch, you don't physically need to touch the ground with your toes. Focus on keeping your back in contact with the floor, and your toes may just hover as you move from one leg to another. Now, as well as working our core here, we're working our hip flexors by moving our legs forwards and back. So again, this is really great for our running. We run by lifting up a bent knee. So really useful here as we go from one leg to the other. The next time your left leg comes up, keep the left leg up in tabletop. So we've hopefully balanced out both sides here. Bring the right leg up to joint now, so both legs in tabletop. Interlace your hands behind your head, elbows to your peripheral vision. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale, draw the navel down and lift your head and shoulders, and keep the head and shoulders lifted for a single leg stretch here. Now take your hands around your right shin, one hand on top of the other, not interlacing fingers, one hand on top of the other. Extend your left leg nice and long. Now I want you to focus right now on having your right heel and left heel the same height. This left leg isn't here or here, and this right heel isn't here or here. Both heels are the same line here. Now the right knee can come a little bit more in towards you, not all the way to your chest, but a little bit kind of misaligned to your hip. Lift the head and shoulders and keep them lifted. Using leg stretch, inhale here. Exhale, change, inhale, exhale, change, inhale, exhale, change. So we're thinking about keeping our heels at the same height, and we're also thinking about this kind of running motion almost. So when we run, we want to kind of think about the knee bending, not necessarily in line with the hip like this as I'm doing right now, or just beyond the hip alignment slightly, but it is a similar movement we're doing. So really good again to work our hip flexors, we're working our core, keep the head and shoulders lifted here as we go from one side to the other. Now you can stay here with this movement with the hands changing to each shin if this feels more comfortable for you. Otherwise we take it into what we call crisscross. We interlace the hands behind the head and we rotate to the knee that's coming in, but keep the elbows wide. So as you rotate, if you are indeed adding the rotation, the elbows are not winging in and out, they stay still. You rotate your spine towards the knee that you're bending. And we still keep the heels on the same line here. We go for 4, let's go for 3, let's go for 2. One more rotation to the right hand side, back into centre, head down, knees into chest. Take a nice little rock from side to side, massaging your back into the mat. So like I was saying initially, of course we need to strengthen our legs for our running, but we also need a strong core. So this one's very much a core-based routine, I guess, today, but we're still moving our legs here, and we want to be moving our legs in a way that benefit us from running, so we're using our hip flexors and our hamstrings for sure, to still benefit the legs from running, but focusing a little bit more on the core in today's session. Once a little rock from side to side, bring yourself back to being nice and still. Bring your feet down to the ground, legs together. Now walk your heels away from you, so they're not in touching distance to your heels if you were to have your fingertips, you have your arms nice and long. Make sure you've got room in your mat as well. I don't have enough room, I've got to shuffle back. So your feet can be further away from you. For the bent knee, modified roll up, or straight legs, your standard, slightly harder roll up, more traditional. You can choose. Reach your arms to your ears, keep your arms off the mat please, palms sitting in, and natural gap between your back, but not so much of an arch here. Now as you inhale, move the arms forwards, lift your head and shoulders. Exhale, draw your thumbs in and round your spine to find your Pilates seat. Inhale, pause in your seat position. So your shoulders align with your hips and you imagine a spine here. Keep the arms at shoulder height. Inhale in. Exhale, start to roll back. Now keep the arms down low. Let your shoulders, but not your shoulder blades, touch the ground. So stay here in a chest lift position. Inhale. Exhale, release the head down. Arms come by your ears, floating off the ground. One more to come up. Inhale, move the arms first. Navel down and lift your head and shoulders. Exhale, peel back off the mat. Find your Pilates seat. Inhale to pause here. And exhale, start nice and tall. Rolling onto your right side. Right forearm on the ground underneath you. Have your heels come back in line with your hips and your shoulder, and you take your left hand onto your hip for a modified side plank. Now I'm sure a lot of you can do it full side plank. You don't need to. We're doing a modified side plank today. There's no need to push yourself into full side plank. It's not necessary, and I'm not cueing it. So from here, we come up onto our knees. We want to inhale onto our knees. Exhale, release all the way down to the ground. Inhale, come up, and then release down as you exhale. Now this is the easier variation for the time being. The harder variation, you don't touch the floor. You float your hips off the ground on the exhale. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, float your hips off the ground. Inhale to come back up. So working our obliques here. Again, we're thinking about working our parts of the body that can help us with running. Strong obliques are really great for your balance overall as well. And balance is needed for running because it's a unilateral movement. You're running from one to the other when you're moving. Let's go for 4. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Keep the hips lifted on 1. This right knee is staying down. Now as we exhale, we lift the left leg up. Keep it a 90-degree bend or above 90-degree bend. Inhale, release down. Exhale to lift. Inhale, release. Now we're staying lifted out of this right hip here, pushing out of the forearm here as we lift this left leg up and down. Gives us a bit more abduction in the outer thigh here. So although we're still working our obliques in a side plank position, we add a little bit of activation to our abductors in this leg lift position. Let's just go for 4, 3, 2, and then release down on 1 from here. Zigzag your legs. You can bring your underneath leg forwards, the top leg back. Take your left hand under your left shin. Bring your right arm up and over. Nice little side stretch there, releasing down your side of the right side of the obliques. Then coming back through centre, swinging around to come into a all-fours position, so your quadruped position. Hands under your shoulders, fingers nice and widely spread. Knees underneath your hips. Now press away from the ground to broaden into the shoulders. A very soft bend from those elbows and lift your abdominals up here, keeping a strong core position. Step your right toes back, left toes back and find the plank position. Now we're moving the knees under the hip joint. So as you inhale, right knee under the hip, exhale, step back. Inhale, left knee under the hip, exhale, step back. This is not a mountain climber, so please don't make it like the movement is much smaller and much slower. If you are struggling, then you would have your knees down to start with. Knee comes in and steps back. But a knee down option, I've got to be honest, it's not the best for this one because you only have so much movement you can do really. So where possible, do one on each side, have a break, and do another one on each side from our standard plank position as your modification ideally, because a knee down version, it kind of restricts your movement so it doesn't work as well. So break it up, have a little rest in between each side if you need to. We're only here though for a little bit longer. Keep lifting up the abdominals, shoulders drawn back and down. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, release the toes. Press back into a rest. You're laying on your thighs here. Thighs staying parallel, arms long in front. Deep breaths. And then into our modified side plank on the left forearm. So stay facing me if you can. Forearm down. And again, you're going to have your heels, hip and shoulder in a nice straight line here. You can have your top hand onto your hip. So as we inhale, we lift up into underneath knee. We exhale, just start by releasing all the way down to the ground first. I'll give you the next option very shortly. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, push out of your left side here. Now the slightly harder variation is you don't actually really touch the ground. You lift up on the inhale, you exhale to float your hip off the ground. Inhale to lift. Exhale, floating the hip off the ground. That's just going to make you work your obliques a little bit more. Think about pressing the hips forwards as you come up each time as well. Staying up in 4, in 3, in 2. So now for this next one, we lift now this right leg up and down. We exhale, lift, keep the knee bent. Inhale to release, so working your hip abduction. And you really need strong hips for your running. I'm sure a lot of you will probably know that hips play a lot of significance in your running. Often people complain about hips as well when it comes to running. This is a really good way to get that hip strength and mobility. So we lift up and down, keep lifting out of your left side here. For 4, 3, 2, last one, and release down from here. Find your zigzag legs, so bring your underneath leg, left leg forward, right leg back. Take your right hand under the shin, the left arm up and over. Get a nice stretch down the side there and breathe. Come back through centre. Find your hands onto the mat, find your knees into the ground. And have your feet relax, so relaxing your toes here. Let the hips come forwards, allow the chest to lift, shoulders drawn back and down here. And breathe into that, open across your chest. Sit back onto your heels, reach your arms out nice and long. Breathe into your back body. One more time, come forwards. Hips lower down, chest nice and lifted, shoulders from back and down, open up across your chest. And then release back to your heels into your rest position. From your rest, interlace fingers behind you, press your palms together, lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands down beside you. Take a comfortable seated position. Interlace fingers in front of your body. Round for your arms, up, back and shoulders like you're trying to pull your hands apart. Press the palms forwards to the ceiling and around and down to the ground. As always, thank you so much for joining me on today's Pilates for Runners class with my YouTube channel, Natalie. I've been Natalie, you've been great, so please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you are always getting the latest video. Make sure you hit the bell button too to get notified each time I release a new video. Until next time, enjoy your running journey. I'll see you again soon. Take care.